Spirit in this place. Welcome, Holy Spirit, in this place. Once more. Welcome, Holy Spirit, in this place. Now you know the Holy Spirit is in your mind and in my mind. We know that we're here because we're being divinely led. We know that there is a message each time we meet that's already prepared, even though it comes through me at the last minute. I don't know why he challenges me like that, but it's fun. And so I'm loving already what has been given. But how it will come through, I have no idea. I'm just excited about letting go and letting it flow. And to that end, we know that we're going to leave here prepared exactly as the Holy Spirit wants us to be prepared to practice this thing called creative visualization so that we can bring chapter 14 of John alive in our lives to the point of healing and demonstration in whatever area it is that we came in need of. And we give thanks to that end. And so it is.
So it is.
Yes. We talked about a couple of weeks ago, I came in here with a pass out that was entitled Deja Vu, you remember? But on the way, the subject got changed and we didn't use it. Hold on to it, because at the right time, we're going to use it. That might be a week from next week. But this week and next week, we're definitely using the same material that you have today, which is, the topic is creative visualization. And there's a typo error where it says, this is Barbados. It should be, this is Barbados. And this is still Neville, but it's from one of his books called Fourth Dimensional Thinking, or the chapter is Fourth Dimensional Thinking, because it's from another collection by Neville. And it's a story. If you were if you were here in the year before we started this year, it was last year that we covered this already. And it was from, you remember the story of how he wanted to go to Barbados. He had been in the country 12 years from Barbados. He had never desired to go home, and suddenly he had this impulse. He had this strong pulling to go, but he couldn't afford it. But somehow he got there through mysterious ways. You remember that story? Mm-hmm. Didn't we work it?
Yeah.
That was a good time. Mm-hmm. But when I was thinking, do you know what that means when I was thinking?
Amen.
It's a rhetorical question. I was thinking. That's where we want to get to. You know, what we're doing here is that we're learning a new language, a language of the soul. At some point, you should become bilingual. You should have an earthly language and a spiritual language. And when you're speaking the earthly language, you should always remember that it's only symbolic. It's only representing something else. You're bilingual. So to me, when I said I was thinking, what I was saying to you is that I was listening. And I was receiving, and I was feeling is the secret. Feeling is the secret. I was feeling. And in that feeling, I was receiving direction and the next thing for us to talk about. And so this was a recall. Now, we already said it. We've been practicing for the past few weeks of creative imagination, and we've been talking about the power of sleep. What I am saying to you is what we talked about. In the morning, when you awake, recall, that's what I was thinking. Remember, in your bed as you sleep, he sealeth their instructions. He switched. That's a demonstration that I shared with you. I just received this from sleeping. the inspiration, the whisper, now do this. Not what you were thinking, not what you were planning up until this moment, but go back to when you talked about the story when he went to Barbados. And so I went through and I pulled this up and I excerpted part of it. And this is what we are revisiting. And this story is important right at this juncture in what we're trying to understand and practice. This story will help us again. Right? I was thinking. Come on, let's say I was thinking. I was thinking. Slow down, let's say it again. I was thinking. Say it like I'm saying. I was thinking. See, you're practicing now. What you're doing is practicing what we're talking about. At some point, we've got to start practicing it. It is done unto you as you believe. You have to believe that you're hooked up. Get out of your mind. And know that as you're thinking, they're not your thoughts. You got to start practicing that these are not my thoughts. You have to practice that I'm hearing something, and that's what is being spoken through me, and that's what I'm speaking. I was thinking all that have a new meaning for you. So, while I was thinking, he said, look at that dialogue that you had with Dolores. Do you know who Dolores is?
The lady was praying for.
The young lady was trying to save the money for her. And when she got ready to go, she found out about the money.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's a different one. Then I want you to, I'm stopping to emphasize this because I want you to remember. Dolores is one of the people who we're praying for in proxy. She's the one who has a condition that has had her bedridden for a long time. And she sees herself joining us here. You remember? And as a prayer partners with her, as the group of, because you can't forget her. So when I say Lord, you know what I'm talking about. All right? And so what we're doing in our visualization is seeing her standing here giving her testimony. That's what Barbados, that's the story, that's what Barbados is about. That's what Neville is teaching. And that's what we're doing today with this creative visualization. So do you see her standing here giving her testimony, walking in this door? You have to. It works. Now, in our creative visualization practice today, what we're going to do as a group is see you doing whatever it is that you share with us as your goal. We're helping each other. That's what this is for today. And you're going to have an opportunity to participate, interact, and dialogue. Because I'm going to help you write this. I'm going to help you develop this. So just write some little notes on it when we get there, and then take it home and develop it and bring it back and refine it. Bring it back and refine it. Bring it back. But you're going to take it back and practice what you're developing here. Isn't that sweet? That's what I was thinking last night and this morning. And that's what was given to me, because I had a whole different plan to come in here up until Friday, what I was going to talk about. Now, what we're going to do is this little excerpt from the story that we've already covered from Neville. I'm going to read through it, but I'm not going to read through it the way I normally do, is read through it and teach through it, you know, just a pretty much straight through read through it. Next week we're going to slow down and get into the meat. We're going to review it again, and we're going to preach through it. Okay? So, the reason I want to read through it, overview it, I want you to listen as I read. And hear with your inner ear, hear with your inner spirit, and feel it. Feel it. Feeling is the secret. And then after that, we're going to take the time here and do a workshop, and we're going to go to school. And we're going to develop these. Where there's not enough space here, right on the back or right on something else, because this is going to be the meat of your creative visualization, of your healing, guided healing meditation that you're going to practice at home. And then we want to step out of that on another level, and you're going to live it all day. You're just going to live in it. And we're going to pray. We're learning how to shift from praying about something to praying from. How to look from within out at your situation. That's the meat of what we're doing here today. All right. So, assuming and presuming that you are ready, I'm going to start after I say. Do you remember the CD that I talked about last week? In Between the Spaces. In Between the Spaces is something that we've already done last year and the year before. But in 2005, I spoke at Guidance one Sunday, and I spoke on In Between the Spaces. When I spoke at Guidance in 2005 on In Between the Spaces, it was a revisit from the 1990s. When I first spoke and taught from that book by Taniguchi, a writer, who, that's where I found that idea from and that teaching from. And I told you last week that I stumbled upon it. That's a spirit, that's my other language, my spiritual language. I stumbled upon it. It has everything. The overriding subject was atomic transformation. Atomic transformation was the overall theme of one of the breakdown talks was In Between the Spaces. And we talked about this craft, how it is that it sheds its old shell and takes on a new shell when there is none of the elements around for it to take on it from, but somehow through the process of atomic transformation, it absorbs what it needs, all that it doesn't have. Then we parallel that with your life. Just as we walk and breathe, we're absorbed by faith. It is done unto you as you believe. By faith. Through your mental consciousness and through your spirit, you're absorbing everything that you need. All of the elements are there. But according to your faith, be it done unto you. That's why you need to listen to that CD. In Between the Spaces, and if you haven't, revisit it. Okay. So I'm going to read here Neville's story again. It probably shows up in more than one of his books because he's repetitive. He's redundant, as you know. He said here, let me tell you why I am doing what I am doing today. What he is saying is that in this ministry, in this healing ministry, in these talks, in these workshops, in these books that I've dedicated my life to help you, let me tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing today. He said, it sprung from this experience. He had a miraculous shift in consciousness. He had a starting point. And he said, this is the starting point. This is what changed my life. He said it was back in 1933 in the city of New York. And my old friend Abdullah, with whom I studied Hebrew for 5 years, was really the beginning of the eating of all my superstitions. When I went to him, well, he's talking about, because I deleted a lot of stuff to try to get to the essence of it. He's talking about his teacher at the time, his mentor at the time, his spiritual leader, his spiritual guide at the time. He said, when I went to him, Abdullah, I was filled with superstitions. I could not eat meat, I could not eat fish, I could not eat chicken, I could not eat any of these things that were living in the world. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke. I was making a tremendous effort to live a celibate life. And Abdullah said to me, I'm going to tell you, no, He said, I'm not going to tell you you're crazy, Neville, but you are, you know. All these things are stupid, but I could not believe they were stupid. In November 1933, I bade goodbye to my parents in the city of New York as they sailed for Barbados. I had been in this country 12 years with no desire to see Barbados. I was not successful, and I was ashamed to go home to successful members of my family. After 12 years in America, I was a failure in my own eyes. One day, as I came up the street, you see what's bold and underlined? Something. And that's what we have to hang on to. This is your story. This is my story. Whenever that idea comes to your mind, an idea came to his mind, a desire came to his mind. It is absolutely no different than the goals that I have, the needs that I have, the things that I pray about, the vision that I have, the things I see myself doing and having, no different than this. Something possessed me with a desire. Something has possessed you with a desire for healing in this condition in the body, in the mind. Some problem in a relationship. Something has possessed you with that desire for a different home environment, a bigger house, or a change in transportation, a new relationship, or get rid of a bad one, or heal, forgive. It doesn't matter. Something has possessed you with that desire. Something that, the desire that possessed him, remember he had never thought about going to Barbados, but something began to tell him it's time for you to go to Barbados. Now, the other way of thinking of this is, I want to go to Barbados. We had a message on that already. It says Barabbas or Jesus. Remember that one? Come on, wake up. We covered that already. Barabbas or Jesus. You need to listen to that. Go back. You have the CD, and it's on the website. Barabbas or Jesus. And there's a difference between I want and I have. You see, it was in 1933. Something possessed me with a desire to go to Barbados. I was unemployed and I had no place to go except a little room on 75th Street. It's kind of describing his financial state, huh? I went straight to my old friend Abdullah and said to him, Ab, the strangest feeling is possessing me. What are we going to write when I finish reading this? There's a strange feeling that's possessing you now. If it's a healing in the body, if it's a healing in the mind, it's a healing in a relationship, if it's more money, if this is I want him to go and I want her to go and I want her to come and him to come, whatever it is, a strange feeling is possessing me. For the first time in 12 years, I want to go to Barbados. He was talking to his friend Ab, right? And what did Ab say? If you want to go, Neville, read that. Let's read that in bold together.
If you want to go, Neville, you have gone.
Let's repeat that again. If you want to go, Neville, you have gone. Let's read it again. If you want to go, Neville, you have gone. Please read it one more time. If you want to go, Neville, you have gone. That was very strange language to me. I am in New York City on 72nd Street, and he tells me, I have gone to Barbados. I said to him, what do you mean, I have gone, Abdullah? He said, do you really want to go? I answered, yes. He then said to me, well, as you walk through this door now, you are not walking on 72nd Street. You are walking on palm-lined streets, coconut-lined streets. This is Barbados. Look at me. finish reading this. And this is the way you want to talk. This is the way you want to act. This is the way you want to feel, is how Abdullah is instructing him right now. Don't ask me now, how are you going to go? He's jumping ahead of his stupidity. Now don't ask me how you're going to be healed. Don't ask me how you're going to solve the situation in your life. Don't ask me how you're going to attract this, whatever it is that you need, and this change that you need in your... Don't ask me how. You are in Barbados. So you don't say how when you are there. You don't say how when you are there. You are there. Now, you walk as though you were there. I went out of this place in a daze. I am in Barbados. I am here. I am in this house. I am driving this car. I am hugging and loving this food. I am tolerating this mess. I am not moved anymore. I ain't married no more. Whatever it is. He said, now, I'm in Barbados and I have no money, I have no job, I'm not even well clothed, and yet I am in Barbados. He was not the kind of a person with whom you would argue. Not Abdullah. Now all these thoughts that I have, I'm keeping them to myself. I cannot speak them to Abdullah. That says, shut up. Block your thoughts. Abdullah in this case is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit don't want to hear that mess. All of the reasons, all of the excuses, where it come from, how it happened, you know, stop. You can't be there and carry on this language at the same time. 2 weeks later, I was no nearer my goal than on the day I first told him I wanted to go to Barbados. I said to him, Ab, I trust you implicitly, but here is one time I cannot see how it is going to work. I have not one penny towards my journey. I began to explain. You know what he did? That's what's written on this page. You know what Ab did? He was as black, he was a black man, he was as black as the ace of spades, my old friend Abdullah, with his turban head. As I sat in his living room, he rose from his door and went towards his study and slammed the door, which was not an invitation to follow him. As he went through the door, he said to me, I have said all that I have to say. You know, people don't want to hear you complain. People don't want to hear your, I mean, if you got to change your language. You got to start some thought blocking. You got to stop talking about the problem. Stop talking about it. Stop thinking about the impossible. Stop thinking about conditions. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking. And stop talking. Nobody wants to hear it. And they're slamming the door on you literally when they hang up the phone. Well, I'm this. If they don't, you look at the call ID, don't take your call. That's slamming the door. They know what you're going to talk about. I'm not talking, let me reverse this. You know what they are going to talk about. Now I'm going to come back next week. You know what they're going to talk about. So you don't want to listen. Abdullah didn't want to hear that stuff. On the 3rd of December, I stood before Abdullah and told him again, I was no near my trip. He repeated this statement, you are in Barbados. Sometimes our blood has to be forced upon us. You are in Barbados. The very last ship sailing for Barbados that would take me there for the reason I wanted to go, which was to be there for Christmas, sailed at noon on December 6th. The old Narisa, that's the name of the ship, the old Narisa. On the morning of December 4th, having no job, having no place to go, I slept late. When I got up, there was an airmail letter from Barbados under my door. As I opened the letter, a little piece of paper flickered to the floor. I picked it up and it was a draft. It was a check for $50. Now $50 was a lot of money. The letter was from my brother Victor, and it read, "I am not asking you to come, Neville. This is a command. We have never had a Christmas when all the members of our family were present at the same time. This Christmas, it could be done if you would come." My oldest brother, Cecil, left home before the youngest was born, and then we started to move away from home at different times. So never in the history of our family were we ever all together at the same time. The letter continued, "You're not working. I know there is no reason why you cannot come. So you must be here before Christmas. The enclosed $50 is to buy a few shirts or a pair of shoes you may need for the trip. You will not need tips. Use the bar if you're drinking. I will meet the ship and pay all your tips and your incurred expenses. I've already cabled Furness, Withy and Company in New York City and told them to issue you a ticket when you appear at the office." Now the $50 is simply to buy some little essentials. You may sign as you want aboard this ship, and I will need it and take care of all obligations. Do you know your Bible? Do you know the scriptures? Can you recall the one that says, "While ye are yet praying, I will ask. While before you call, I will ask. It is done to you as you believe." Now let's just put a pin in it and just say, when we do this, it's helping us to get into this. And we have to believe that if you were possessed by desire, which means whatever you're praying for and about, it's what? Already done. You see that? It's already done. What is already done? The letter's in the mail. The check is in the mail. Somebody has pressed the button and did a direct deposit. So, it's already there. It's already set up. Everything is, the contract is already written, waiting for you to sign it when you get your mind straight. The house is already built. The car is sitting on the lot. Your name is on the key. The person has already made up their mind to forgive and let go. The person is already ready to shift in consciousness that they're not even thinking about what you're thinking about. The doctor is already sitting there waiting with the scalpel or with the medicine or with the whatever, or to tell you that you don't have to come back home. That's already done. It is already done. Something is blocking it. Tessa here asked a question. And I've been meditating on it, and the answer is coming through. So I'll wait to see here to share. But see, what's happening here is, what's blocking it? What's blocking it? What's holding it up? You. How? The thing here. Leah said that I said something one day that impressed her. Just because you're thinking it, you don't have to say it. Just because it comes in your mind, you don't have to let it come through. Shut up. They can go back and reverse it. No, I ain't saying that. I don't believe that. Work on it. The $50 is simply to buy some essentials. You may sign as you want aboard the ship. I will meet it and take care of all the obligations. Now, so he said here, I went down to the ship company with my letter and let them read it. And they said, oh, we received this cable from Mr. Goddard, your brother, but unfortunately we have not any space left on the December 6th sailing. So what do you do when you first hit a bump? What do you do when you hear a little bad news? What do you do when things look a little challenging? What do you do when it seems it's not working? There it goes. It comes comes out of your mouth. What you think and you speak, and what you speak has to come to pass. The Bible says none of these things move me. In other words, they got to do with me. Just because it happened to you doesn't have to be, just because it didn't work for you, what's that got to do with me? The only thing available is third class between New York and St. Thomas. I mean, you're going to have to accept less than. Now, the man that said you go in first class, now he gets down to the ship and it says, well, we don't have space on this one. So the first thing we do is get disappointed. This is serious. Oh. Yeah. Credit score is not high enough. Oh. You don't make enough income. Oh. Give me some more. Help me out. Some little disappointments you might run into. Rather sickness, relationship, or whatever. Help me out. Some little bad news that you might get. When we get to St. Thomas, we have a few passengers who are getting off. Now, you can come on and go third class, but we got to stop in St. Thomas, and some people are getting off. And when they get off, we might have something open up for you. You may then ride first class from St. Thomas to Barbados. But between New York and St. Thomas, you must go third class, although you may still have the privileges of the first class dining room. And you can walk the decks of the first class. And I said, I'll take it. Christian folks, they're gospel singing, of the celebrity singers, making a lot of money on. I won't complain. Woo! I won't complain. He said, I'll take it. I won't complain. So what's sabotaging? What's stopping? Complaining. I won't complain. Go on, take what you got. Work with what you got. Stand where you are. And be complete and whole and perfect and sound. So I went back to my friend Abdullah on the afternoon of December 4th and said, man, this stuff is working like a dream. I told him what I had done, thinking he would be happy, but he forgot who he was talking to. Jesus. He was talking to the Holy Spirit, who does not settle for less, who does not compromise, but at least he was moving forward on the level of consciousness that he was at that time. He didn't stop. He just stopped complaining and said, I'll go on anyway. But when he came back to Abdullah, Abdullah does not see as he sees. He's not seeing through the eyes that he's seeing through. They're going to get excited because he just got on the ship. Abdullah is standing still and firm in his commitment. Am I right?
Yes.
Do you know what Abdullah said to me? He said, who told you that you were going third class? Did I see you in Barbados? The man you are going third class? You don't know who you are. I see you differently than you see yourself, which was the essence of the teaching of Jesus. Jesus healed because he didn't see the people as they saw themselves. The sick person came to him, he didn't see a sick person, because if you see a sick person, you can't heal a sick person.
Right.
If you see a dead man, you can't raise a dead man. So what you have to be careful about is shut up, because how you describe yourself and what you're talking about is how people see you, and that's canceling out your healing. Shut up. Stop complaining. Stop sharing the wrong thing. You know I ain't been able to use it yet. And how do they see you? Living. I can't see it. How do they see you? Blind. I can't see you. I can't find no job. How do they see you? Unemployed. I'm just so lonely. How they see you. And that's what you're manifesting. They are seeing you as you see yourself. By your words. And so what are you radiating and what you're exuding? That. The law of attraction. And that comes back. What you're sending out comes back. Your consciousness is who you are, and your consciousness draws to you according to the law of correspondence. I didn't come to cuss you out today, so forgive me. So, whoa! Who told you that you're going third class? Did I see you in Barbados? The man you are going third class? Lift up your consciousness. Raise your consciousness. You are in Barbados and you went there. First class is what's ahead. You are in Barbados and you went there. You went there. First class. I did not have one moment to see him again before I sailed on the noon of December. Suddenly he sailed when he got his consciousness right. When he brought his thinking in alignment with what Abdullah was proclaiming. When I reached the dock with my passport and my papers to get aboard that ship, the agent said to me, when I changed my mind, when I changed my stinking thinking, when I stopped complaining, I stopped looking down, and I walked on in the pain. I walked on broke. I walked on not knowing how this is going to work out. I walked, when I decided to walk on, leaving God's business to God.
Yes.
This is what happened. As soon as I stepped up there to get on that ship, at the door the man said, "We have good news for you, Mr. Gardner. There has been a cancellation and you are going first class." Abdullah taught me the importance of remaining faithful to an idea and not compromising. So if you're living where you don't want to live, you compromise. If you're driving but you don't want to drive, you compromise. If you're sleeping with, if you don't have enough, you compromise. I wavered, but he remained faithful to the assumption that I was in Barbados and I had traveled first class. So he said, feast on the idea. He's teaching you now. Feast on the idea. Become identified with the idea as though you were already that embodied state. Walk in the assumption that you are what you want to be now. That you're doing what you want to do now. That you're living where you want to live now. That you're driving what you want to drive now. That you're hugging who you want to hug now. That you're buying what you want to buy now. That you're eating how you like to eat now. Okay, if you feast on that and remain faithful to that mental diet, you will crystallize it. You will become it in this world. You will become it in this world. When I came back to New York in 1934, after 3 heavenly months in Barbados, I drank, I smoked, and I did everything I had not done in years. I was no longer selling it. Now that's not there. These glasses, you know, every night. No stuff in there. Blame it on the glasses. I remember what Abdullah had said to me. He said, after you have proven this law, you will become normal, fool. You will come out of that graveyard. You will come out of that dead past where you think you are being holy, where you're acting like you know, oh, that ain't what Christian is. For all you are really doing, you know, you're being so good, never, you're good for nothing. He was a cussing, wasn't he? I came back, walking this earth a completely transformed person. From that day, which was in February 1934, I began to live more and more. I cannot honestly tell you I have always succeeded now. My many mistakes in this world, my many failures would convict me if I told you that I have so completely mastered the movements of my attention that I can at all times remain faithful to the idea I want to embody. He said, I'm just like you. I got some testimonies sometimes, and I got some miracles I can tell you, but sometimes, you know, I don't get it all the time. He said, but I keep trying. I keep doing my best. I recognize when I'm making a mistake. I recognize when I'm slipping. I recognize when I'm backsliding. But I just get up and go again. I don't complain. I'm still a human being. I'm still the spiritual being that I am moving through the human experience, so I get it wrong sometimes. He said, but I can't say with the ancient teacher, although I seem to have failed in the past, I move on and strive day after day to become that which I want to embody in this world. He said, so now suspend your judgment, refuse to accept what reason and the senses now dictate, and if you remain faithful to the new diet, you will become the embodiment of that ideal to which you remain faithful. Don't be lazy. There go my glasses again. If there's one thing, if there's one place in the world that is unlike my little island of Barbados, it is New York City. He said in Barbados, the tallest building is 3 stories, and the streets are lined with palm trees and coconut trees and all sorts of tropical things. Now, this was back in the 1930s, so we got some tall buildings now. But he says in New York City, you must go to the park to find a tree. Yet, I had to walk the streets of New York as though I was walking the streets of Barbados. To one's imagination, all things are possible. I walked, feeling that I was actually walking the streets of Barbados. And in that assumption, I could almost smell the odor of the coconut lime trees. Is that vivid imagination? Is that vivid sensation? Is that getting into the feeling? Is that looking out from and looking through your eyes rather than looking at? I began to create with my mind's eye the atmosphere I would physically encounter were I in Barbados. Word atmosphere, Ernest Holmes in the original Science of Mind textbook before it was revised to be more accepted by the general public of the day. They had to rewrite it because in the original one he had a lot of respect. Writing about mental atmospheres and a lot of other stuff. You understand what I'm saying? But you have to realize is that your atmosphere, you can create the atmosphere that you don't have right now. You can create the atmosphere that you're not living in right now because that's the real atmosphere. This is what this is about. This is what this is going to help you do. Your mental atmosphere. Now, send me a reminder and email somebody where I can go back to the book and copy that out for you and I'll transcribe it and have it as where he talks about mental atmospheres in the original textbook that was written in the 1930s. Are you hearing me? So he was around, Ernest Holmes was around during the Neville times. Neville and Ernest Holmes and those guys and buddies, they were teaching around the same time and writing around the same time. I began to create with my mind's eye. Yeah, that's what he said. I began to create with my mind's, within my mind's eye, the atmosphere I would physically encounter were I in Barbados. Barbados. As I remained faithful to the assumption, somebody canceled passage and I received it. Do you see what's happening while you're doing this work? This is active. This is not passive. This is active work that you're doing through a passive consciousness. And what's happening is as you do this, well, it said he worked on 21 days. Didn't he say that? Did he say that in here? I'm a little confused. I saw 21 days somewhere. In the beginning? Okay, my point is this. You don't have to look it up. The point is this. While you're doing this, you have to know something is working. You have to know that every day, in every way, I am going closer and closer to this demonstration. Because things are being set up. There's a divine orchestration that's going on. My doctor's mind is being affected. The financial persons, the employer, the employee, the networks, the business networks, the encounters, the real estate, whatever it is, stuff is going on. Stuff is going on. Do you believe it? But in order for it to go on, you have to do something that's called chill. They come. Don't worry, the man said, be happy. He made $1 million. Big millions of dollars. Don't worry, be happy, chill, shut up. My brother in Barbados, who never thought about coming home, has the commanding urge to write me a strange letter. Why? Because I was working with my mental atmosphere. And then, through the work that I was doing, my brother in Barbados, who never thought of my coming home, had suddenly this commanding urge to write me a strange letter. Where did that urge start and where did it come from? When from him is being possessed originally with this burning desire to go to Barbados. Now other people's minds are being affected. Other people's thoughts are being affected. Other people start rearranging their finances to do something for me and they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. He had never dictated to me. He had never, but this time he dictated me. He had never bossed me around, told me what I had to do. He had never done that before. And he thought that he originated the idea of my visit. That's what it says with him. And he thought that he had originated the idea of my visit. I went home and I had 3 heavenly months. And I returned first class and brought back quite a sum of cash in my pocket. A gift. Somebody gave him a lot of money. He just didn't tell. He didn't want somebody to know how much he was coming back with. He just called it a gift. My trip, had I paid for it, would have been $3,000. Yet I did it without a nickel in my pocket. I have ways ye know not of. My ways are past finding out. Isaiah 55. The dimensionally greater self, my higher self, took my assumption as the command and influenced the behavior of my brother to write that letter, influenced the behavior of someone to cancel that first class passage, and did all the things necessary that would tend toward the production of the idea with which I was identified. I was identified with the feeling of being there. I slept, feeling is the secret, the power of sleep and prayer. Am I right? Yeah. I slept as though I were there. And the entire behavior of people all around me was molded in harmony with my assumption. I didn't need to go to the ship and beg them for a passage, asking them to cancel someone who has already been booked first class. I didn't need to write my brother and beg him to send me some money or buy me a passage. He thought he originated the act. Actually, to this day, he believes that he initiated the desire to bring me home. My old friend Abdullah simply said to me, "You are in Barbados, Neville." So he said, if you want to be there, wherever you want to be, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to have, whatever you need to be healed of, whatever you need to get rid of, live as though you are, and that you shall be. Give you a flip us and walk. the end goal is that when we finish this, you don't have to write this out in detail. Just write some notes of what you're going to write in here. You don't have to develop it to the detail now. This is giving you an idea where you can take it home and expand on it. You guys ready? Okay. All right. Now remember, you take this and you can develop it. Right on the back, you just write some notes. Okay. Now the scripture, Mark 11:24. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, what? When you pray. Okay, this is right now. As you are praying, it is happening. As you are praying, it is happening. As you are praying, it is being done. As you are praying, something in your body temple, your chemistry of your body, your makeup, the fluids, everything is being affected, impacted right now. Things are changing and shifting in your blood, in your cells, in the fiber, in the essence of your being, in your mind. Everything as you pray. When you pray, you don't wait. You don't pray and wait for something to happen. There is no time. As we know time in the mind of God, that time is a human thing. As you pray, whatsoever things you desire, while you are praying, believe that you receive them in O-W now. And, that's the equal sign, and you shall have them. There's no, and that's a conjunction, and that's a combined thing. There is no gap. And is not a hyphen, and is like, it's the same thing at the same time. And. It didn't say and soon. And it didn't say and will. There's nothing that follows that and. So there's and. It's combined. It's in. The answer is in the prayer. So, number one, and we will expand it, we'll be making changes to this. This is just what came through this morning. 4 a.m. Number one. Well, first of all, I started by telling you, I sent this to Dolores about something that looked like this a couple months ago. And then she's writing hers and developing hers. And it was from this that I kind of reorganized a little bit. Number one, what is your goal? What is your desire? What is your prayer request, etc.? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want to change? What is it that you want to demonstrate? So, you want to go home and you want to develop this. You can just say, feeling this lump. That's good enough. You know, making a change in, you don't say I'm making a change in my living room. That's too liberal and vague. You want to be here, specific and definite. What do you want? Clarify, define it. Now that I want you to think about it. If anybody wants to share an example of whatever you can, and we can use it to develop it as we go through. Yes. Did you have your hand up?
Yeah. Did you say if anyone wanted to share?
In this number one, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that what we just studied, Abdul said, you're in Barbados. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what is it that I want? What is my goal or what is my desire? And what I want to say for myself is, whatever that desire goal is, I'm already in it now.
Okay. Yes.
I got so many things I want to say, I can't even think of the first one. But it's the words of God and the things that you say remind me of things I really remember. And one of the things was what Jesus said, whatsoever you ask my Father in my name, he will give it, and I will do it.
Okay. Now, that's not what I'm asking right now.
Okay, I get it.
Okay, now, is there one thing that you're working on that's a specific, then what the group will do is support you in praying for that, but we're not sharing right now. We're talking about that one thing so that we can move on. So, were you going to say something? Let me get my mic. No, we don't want to take a lot of time. Yeah, just the one, what your point is. We're not sharing right now. Can we get more mic?
We're not sharing.
A discussion.
Okay. So one thing that I would like to, that I'm accepting is a constant flow of abundance in my life.
Okay. All right. So, what you want to do is refine that. She wants to, you know, in this case, that's good in general, but in this particular case, what are you going to use the abundance for right now? And then we take one thing at a time. Let's say you want to change let's say if it's another house, a better living condition, or better, you want to change this car right now. You need X amount of dollars for some sort of specific thing. I will need that $20,000 and $100,000. We're going to be specific, you know, rather than general. So that specific thing, because see, the reason for that is that when we get down here to number 3, 4, and 5, this is going to back up into that, and that won't apply. Okay. So, yes.
Well, what that says to me, what it's saying, is say it, believe it.
No, we want the specific thing that you're working on right now. What is it that you are working on as a...
Well, I just said to you, I've worked on it and did it before.
Okay. Well, let's move on. So, anybody else? All right, now, so let's what do you do with that? What do you do with that thing in number 2? Describe how you see yourself in the end of your desire fulfilled. What are you doing that is new or different in having it? Let's say, when you say this, let's just give it a house.
Okay, yeah.
Because it takes a lot of abundance to get that. Or if you, because you might have one, but you want a different one. So then, let's use a house as an example. So, describe how you see yourself in the end, meaning that desire fulfilled. Describe how you see yourself. What are you doing that is new or different? What are you doing in that house now? What you have to do in the end, you got to walk into that house and see yourself in it, see your guests in it, see yourself moving the furniture around in it, see yourself sitting down with your decorator in it, see yourself, you know, how do you see, describe how you see yourself in it. All right? See yourself planting trees. See yourself planting new garden. Giving you some ideas.
Being in the kitchen.
Go in the kitchen. You see yourself filling the cabinets, unpacking boxes, whatever comes to your mind. Now this can change as you go through your 21 days. What I'm saying now, but let your vivid, so what happens is that in the beginning, you will start writing these things. Now the book of Job 33 says, write the vision on the tablet and make it plain so that he that seeth may read it. Well, he wrote nothing, I can't see it. See, because you're going to draw in your prayer partners from the spiritual zone, and you want them to see. So what happens is that this vividness, this clarity, this thing will become more clear because you're going to start off writing, and then further down the line, you're going to be amazed at what you're writing because you're going to be shown, and you're going to be writing what you're being shown. This is the start of it. You see where we're going? That's why in number 1, you have to be specific, not general and vague, so that when you get to number 2, you got to think. So let's use health for an example. A healing in a particular, okay. So in the, do you write down the condition that you're praying for to be healed of, the medical condition or whatever. In number 2, in the end, heal. What are you doing now that you couldn't do before when you were sick, when you had the problem? You got to go there now.
Running and jumping.
Running and jumping or getting on the plane, because a lot of times people don't get on the plane and go on vacation because of this condition. Now they see themselves being well. I'm on the plane. I'm 30 days in Barbados. I couldn't go before because I couldn't need no doctors over there to take care of the situation. I don't trust their doctors. Don't people do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might get sick. Number 3. Now, that's why you got to start off with number 1 with that example. Number 2, get into the end. And then, how you gonna, number 3. So what we're working on, the bottom line is feeling is a secret. When we get to the bottom here, you got a whole new feeling. You're totally into the end of the thing. You're already there. It's going to affect your total feeling. Feeling is the secret. Number 3, look from inside yourself. From inside. Don't look into. Don't stop looking at the thing. Look through the windows of your mind. Feel yourself looking out from the end. Practice, practice, practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Right.
Practice, practice, practice. You don't just jump up on the stage. Okay, I'm going to play for you. Boo!
Indeed.
So we're practicing. Okay, look from inside yourself. So if you're looking out from the end, what do you see? You have to practice seeing. But we're talking bilingual language. What do you see means, what do you see? What do you see? Stop seeing what you see and say what you see. What you see is from his eyes. What is he showing you? You're catching it for the first time. What do you see? Look from inside yourself. Who do you see in here? You don't know. Now you know. You didn't know before now. Who do you see and hear? He'll show up. She'll show up. That spirit will show up. Write it down. And see that in your meditation as you're falling asleep. In the end, what do you see? Who do you see? In the end, where your prayer is answered, what are they saying to you? All right? You're in the house now. Go back to the house. What are your friends saying to you about this house? Girlfriend, look at you.
Right.
Oh, when are we having a party? Oh, what do you want for this? I want to get you this. And look what I'm bringing. You see them bringing housewarming gifts. You see yourself locking the door and don't letting somebody in, whatever it is. You got to get into the real feeling of it. What do you see? You don't know. You're going there in meditation and you will see it. And that's what comes out of your mouth. This is what I see. You're in the finishing room and he's putting on the garment. Clothing your imagination with what he is showing you, what he is giving you. Get into the feeling of that. Then more and more your joy is rising. Your excitement is rising. Your consciousness, and you're lifting up. Lift it up. Come on now. What is I? Tell me. Imagination. If I be lifted up, I will draw all things unto you. Amazing. If I be lifted up, I will draw all things unto you. What are they saying to you now that you're healed? You're doing what you couldn't do before. You're having aspirations that you just didn't have before. You know, you're just, oh my God. What are they saying to you? Oh, you look different. Oh, you look well. Oh, I've never seen you like this before. Oh, you smell different. Look at your eyes. Look at your, oh my goodness. Hear the people who are close to you. Even those who've gone to the other side, they can talk to you. Number 4. Now, you're in a new state of mind. You're in a new attitude by now. That's why you got to listen to the CD over and over. I got a new attitude. You got it. Everybody has it. You have it. So now you have a new attitude. Your mental atmosphere is changing, has changed. From joy and excitement, you talk to those who are showing up in the end. Now, have a dialogue with them. Describe to them how you feel in the present. Have a dialogue. Describe to them how you feel. You know, I'm healed. You know, I'm blessed. You know, I'm enjoying this new environment. You know, I'm enjoying this house. You know, I'm planning a housewarming. You know, I'm planning a trip. You know, I'm going to see my son and my family. I'm going on a vacation because I've been healed. I'm well now. And I'm going to hold on to my healing. How do you feel now, that dialogue in this end? And then 5, it's called spiritual suturing. You know what suturing is? Mm-hmm. Suturing is closing it up, sewing it up. Suturing, you got to suture, you got to close it up so it don't bleed no more. You know, you're coming out of surgery, you're coming out of you're in God's laboratory, you're in God's infirmary, right? So you're suturing, you're closing it up with gratitude, with thanksgiving, with the affirmation of finality. I am healed now. I got my stuff. Am I right? It is finished. It is finished. It is finished. I have the thing now. I am there now. I'm walking in it. Put on your clothes. You just feel that it's finished, that it is there. So you see yourself doing, being, going, and having. And you just stay in an attitude of gratitude and blessing and praise. And let's be still and know